Back when I was much younger and I had issues with my temper and I was very argumentative and extremely defensive, I remember usually being told, if you could just get rid of those issues, if you could just get rid of them, McKenna, because you're such a brilliant, wonderful human being, if you could just get rid of those things, then you would be so great. And for a very long time, I believed the people who told me that story. That if I could just get rid of the dark parts of myself that I didn't like, the sabotage, the constantly having people in my life walking around eggshells because they didn't know how to talk to me, if I could just get rid of those things, then I would be this wonderful human being. And for a very long time, those words kept me in the very same place. If anything, it made me worse. To a point where I didn't believe that I had much value, because that part of me was so prevalent. I might as well have been walking around with wounds right outside of my skin, because the moment you touched any part of me, I would have something to say about it. I always felt like I was being attacked, so I needed to defend myself. Until I started having a very different relationship with those aspects of myself. I don't know when I made the decision to make my anger, make my temper, make my sabotage, make those things an ally. But the minute I started doing that, that's when life started flowing a lot easier. That's when my relationships with the people who I had the most friction with became significantly easier. That's when I started to find peace, real peace within myself. And for those of you who may be in a spot right now where you're trying to figure out how I'm going to lead the life that I want, but I just need to get rid of these things, these issues, these problems that keep coming my way. Or I'm always in my own way. There's always something wrong with me. What is wrong with me? Am I cursed? No, you're not cursed. You just have come to a point where you don't see very much value in yourself, because you believe that those mechanisms that are in you are not controlled by you anymore. You feel like there's something outside of you that controls those things, and you find yourself just losing your temper out of nowhere, and you want to stop. You want to stop constantly self-sabotaging, but you're like, it doesn't matter how hard I try and what I try to do, I still find myself doing the exact same things. My advice to you, if what I'm saying resonates with you, is to start having a very different relationship with your triggers. Start actually having a healthy relationship with your triggers. And when I say that, I don't mean make excuses for them. I mean, start identifying them. What are they? Okay, fine. I lose my temper all the time. Why? This person makes me angry. Let's just start there. This person makes me angry. And because this person makes me angry, because they say something that triggers me, or they say something that makes me feel some kind of way, and immediately I start to feel these sensations in my body, my heart starts beating faster, my ears get hotter, I start feeling tense around my chest, and I start feeling this tension in my shoulders, and my body is ready to go. I am ready to attack. I'm ready to defend myself. So now the question begins, or you start asking yourself, are you always going to react when somebody says or does something that you don't like? Are you always going to allow that trigger to be just that? A trigger, and not something that you can glean information from. Because when somebody does or says something to you that really, really makes you angry, that in itself already is very vital information. And you'll be surprised that it's not actually about that person and them pushing your buttons. There's something within you that you haven't resolved within yourself. And that's why it's so easy for somebody else to jerk you around and make you feel the way you do. And then there are some of us who say, you know what, it's them. They're the problem. My girlfriend is a problem. My boyfriend is a problem. He's always doing this and making me feel this way. And then there are those of us who say, I'm tired of constantly being triggered. It is exhausting. I am incapable of maintaining relationships because of my temper. If you've come to that point where you realize that it is you, then that's when you start asking yourself, when am I going to start doing the real work? And if you really are in a space now where you are prepared to do the work, then you need to start asking different questions. Not what is wrong with me, but what is this trigger trying to tell me about myself? What is this trigger trying to show me? What is it helping me understand about wounds that happened probably in my past, something traumatic that I haven't been able to heal? How about I go back there? How about I go back to that wounded child and sit with that child and find out, why are they so adamant to try and protect me? What is my body constantly trying to protect me from? Because you are in a system, a mechanism that you've created for yourself, where when somebody pushes that button, the first thing you want to do is protect yourself by getting angry, by screaming back at them, or by getting physical, or by saying something to hurt them. And now you have to start asking yourself, what is that? What is that thing that I am protecting myself from? And that's what I mean when I say it's going to be very important for you to start having a different relationship with your triggers. So, what is the benefit of having a different and healthier relationship with your triggers? The biggest benefit that I found is that you stop hating yourself so much, because you start to understand that that trigger, that vice, like self-sabotage, it's a pattern. It's a learned pattern. It's something that you conditioned and trained yourself into to do over and over again because you were trying to protect yourself from something. So it becomes information now. It's no longer something for you to get emotionally involved with and feel like crap and feel like this is who I am and this is always who I'm going to be. No. A trigger is just information. It is data. It's letting you know where you are in your life right now and what it is that you can do to change it in order to move towards or propel yourself towards that relationship, healthy relationship you want to have, or just basically having a significantly better relationship with yourself. And when I started doing that, when I started taking the worst of myself and I decided to look at these issues that I had as simply information, that I didn't have to attach myself to so much and say, I get angry all the time, so there's something wrong with me. When I changed that language, everything changed. Everything changed. It's the best thing that honestly ever happened in my life. Because for a very long time, I genuinely believed that I was cursed. I thought there was something wrong with me. And that information in itself changed everything for me. It changed my whole trajectory of how I saw my life. And even as 2026 has begun, and fine, there are not a lot of things that have happened externally that I'm particularly quote unquote happy with. Not everything has been aligned the way I'd like, but that doesn't change the level of self-respect that I have for myself now that I never had before. And that in itself allows me to look forward to another day, to look forward to the next moment, simply because of those changes that I made. So I believe more in self-integration than self-improvement, because self-improvement was going to tell me, you have a problem with that, so you need to learn anger management. And yeah, okay, fine, that's true, I do. But I also needed to understand that this is a personal relationship with myself. And I just needed to start changing the way I talked to myself and the way I saw myself, and to treat myself with kindness and compassion. And once I started doing that, more emotional and mental doors started opening for me. And that's why I'm able to do videos like this. Thank you for watching.